I see we have people dropping in. We're pumped to be here today to talk to you about a strategy that is only growing in popularity among salon and spa owners. I'm talking about memberships, and we're going to dive into some of the best practices for how to run memberships in your business. And we're going to cover a lot today. So I'm going to be getting started immediately and going to share my screen with you. I hope that is coming up. Can you see my screen okay and hear that? Just give me like a noise in the chat. Hi, Tiffany. Perfect. Awesome. Great. So just before we dive in, just wanted to hear real quick who we have here. Hey, Hans, Dean. So if you just want to tell me like what type of business do you run? And also if you're running with memberships in your business today. So just give me like a yes in the chat if you're running with memberships in your business, or no if you're not. And also like what type of business you run. Hair salon, no. Seeing no from Amy as well. Okay, great. And while you're writing that, I just want to give a short introduction also who we are here today. So I think most of you probably have met me on one instance or another, but my name is John Hallberg and I run the salon business. And this is really like Mangomint's education site portal where we give like tips and strategies, things like what we're talking about today in order to help you grow a successful salon or spa business. So that's me. So that's really like my goal of why I'm doing this. But I have the honor today as well to have someone very special with us on this webinar. I'm talking about Marcelle, who is my good friend and colleague, who has a lot of experience running memberships in her business and also helping other salon and spa owners succeed with their memberships. So, great to have you here, Marcelle.
Thanks,
today.
John. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks to the salon business community and Mangomint for giving us this platform to really like provide this free education. I'm Marcelle, I'm the VP of sales at Mangomint, but that hasn't always been the case. I was a service provider, specifically a hairstylist for many years, and owned a salon in San Diego until I joined the Mangomint team in 2019. So my journey, like many of yours, has been behind the chair, working directly with clients, as well as coaching other salon and spa owners. So memberships is one piece that I think for many years has been overlooked, overcomplicated, and yet is such an easy, really effective way to grow your business. So very excited to share that with everyone.
Awesome. So we have a lot of interaction in the chat as well, which is great. Some familiar names, which I love to see. So I see majority do not have a membership in the business today. So, independently, if you have a membership or if you don't have a membership, we want this training today to be relevant in either case to help you get started or to just get tips and ideas also to improve what you're doing. So I see we have massage therapy, Katie, Lothar, a beauty spa as well, no membership yet. What I like is also I see no membership yet. So, clearly everyone is considering memberships, and that's probably why you're on this call today as well. So aesthetics practice, restructuring memberships now is coming from Dean. So excited to get some more insights. We are too. So that's great. Let's dive in. And obviously, I wanted to cover just really quick, like why do we even care about this? Obviously, you all know why we should care about this, or you wouldn't invest the time today to be here with us. But there's a number of reasons why memberships can make a lot of sense for a lot of businesses. So I just wanted to cover them quickly. And I think for me, like memberships, like number one, is really like peace of mind. Just knowing that you're not starting, each month at zero, but that you actually have, recurring membership payments coming in, so that even at the start of the month, that if not all, at least part of your overhead expense is already covered, by your membership payments. So that can give you more peace of mind so that you can focus on growing your business versus worrying about, closing the month, but you already have some of that confidence. So I think that's a big one that we shouldn't underestimate. But also, like, having a membership program in your business also increases the value you can extract from each customer. So, members in our business stay more loyal. They get access to perks, member benefits, and it's a way to reward our most loyal clients so they continue to stay loyal. We also know that if we have, for example, a monthly membership program, that we also get clients to come back into our business more frequently, which also gives us opportunity to sell, more things to these individuals. And we also know that, when our clients are on a membership, program with us and they have prepaid part of their service, they're more likely to then spend more with us when they're in with us at the visit. So, it's a way for us to increase the value of each appointment with each customer. And finally, also, I'm not saying you're planning to sell your business, but if you one day are selling your business, having a business model that is not only based on that is based on basically recurring payments, is just much more valuable for a buyer. So if you have a business today with a customer list with email addresses and phone numbers and so on, if you compare that to having a business with a customer list with credit cards that are being charged every month automatically in your business, the valuation and how a buyer will look at that is completely different. So also, in order to set yourself up for potentially an exit in the future with your business, memberships can be.
I love that you highlighted that, John. But the best advice that has been delivered in so many ways by so many entrepreneurs that I've followed or met or spoken with is, regardless of your plan to exit or not, you want to always build your business as if you're going to sell it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Right. So this is the agenda that we're looking at today. We're already making progress. We've ticked off the first point, which is why do we care about memberships? What we're going to do next is dive into best practices and some examples coming from Marcel. And then after that, we're going to go into more like how do we actually market this and how do we bring this membership to life and how do we get people to sign up for it? And then we're going to end with a bit of like practicalities of like technically, getting set up and starting to run your membership. So what I would just say before we go in, we have a short time together here. It's time that you invest in yourself. So let's try to stay focused. And I know it's hard, but like eliminate distractors and so on, so we can kind of be here together for the next 30 minutes or so as we're covering the content that we have today. So with that, I'm going to hand over to you, Marcel, to talk about some of the best practices and examples from
Beautiful.
your experience.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, not only did I own my own salon for many years, and I do see many of you in the chat that are hair salons specifically, and I'm really excited to speak to that. But what I really want to do today is walk you through all of the experience that I've had, not only as a coach in the industry, but now working with salon and spa owners and professionals consistently over the past 5 years at Mangomint, just really looking into their business, watching them build memberships and seeing the success that they've had out of that. So with that, it brings a ton of experience in what works and also what doesn't. So the next couple of slides will have some bullet points up, but I'm really just going to kind of like freestyle into what I've seen be the best practices. And I encourage you to challenge them in the chat, say why that wouldn't work for you, or, maybe that's something you haven't thought about. So the first thing I like to think about with a membership is, if I go on your website or if I go into your business and you are selling a membership, and I see that whether it's listed out on your website or posted internally, or, God forbid the technician is trying to explain that membership to me and they can't get it across in that 30-second elevator pitch, it's probably not structured in the right way to build out, especially in the beginning. So I like to think of my 7-year-old at home. If we get to the end of the day and he's pretty burnt out, and maybe we're going to have dessert, I can't have too many options. It's got to be chocolate or vanilla. In the morning when he's cranky and he's waking up, it's bacon or sausage. The more options we start to grow out and build, the more confusion and kind of that analysis paralysis of trying to make a decision sets in. So I always recommend starting with 2 options. Now, there is going to be a caveat to this, which I'll get to, but especially if you're in an environment like a spa or you do facials and you offer something like a 60 or a 90-minute, whatever your most popular service is, give them those options. So again, chocolate or vanilla, think 60-minute facial or 90-minute facial, 75-minute massage or 120-minute massage. Find those, categories that people would already get monthly and build them around those two options. I do have some examples up here of a Mangomint customer who has built out a really, really wonderful membership. And what I love about it is it's very clear what you're choosing from. So you're choosing this time or that time based upon what you prefer, and you have this price or that price. So in their case, $125 a month or $183 a month for the 90-minute. But what's great is not only does that get you what you're already going in for every month, but you're also going to get additional perks. So those perks can be built into your membership. So automatically applying 10% off additional services. Something John mentioned earlier is right now I'm thinking about the audience that already comes in every month. If I'm going, for example, to my hairdresser, I am religious with my trims and I'm in there every 6 weeks. So you could actually build a haircut membership that is every, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and that could be for your long hair client or your short hair client. So you can build memberships in various different ways. It doesn't have to be monthly. It can be a longer period of time. And then you're going to give them additional benefits. So if I'm giving 10% off additional services, when I'm in that consultation and I'm speaking to them about their dry ends, or I'm speaking to them about a new skin challenge, I can then suggest an add-on service or an add-on treatment. Not only will they get that at 10% off, but it's going to solve what you heard them say in your consultation. So it gives you like a nice baseline to add something on, as well as the perk of giving them the retail discount. I love the retail discount because, especially if this is like a facial client, they're already there seeking better results. Well, as we know, if I'm coming in once a month for a facial, there's 4 weeks in between when I'm at home and I can ruin all the beautiful work your team just did. So we want to suggest merchandise and encourage that so we can give a discount there. Finally, I love perks that don't necessarily live on the monthly membership, but any events you have, any special goodies that you get from any of the brands that you carry, I suggest isolating those and giving early access to your members. So if I'm hosting an event at my salon or spa, the first 1, maybe 2 hours of that event are going to be VIP access to our members. When I had my salon, we did I feel like every brand does this, but we would do an annual 30% off a bundle of shampoo and conditioner liters. So it was a big discount, but we got that discount from the brand, and then we would pass that along to our members. So we would get an allotment of liters, and let's say the first 2 weeks of our month-long liter sale were only available to our members. If they sold out, then that just is more encouragement for anyone who is not a member to become a member so they don't miss out on that annual liter sale. All of these little details start to add up to make being a member with you something that's self-care, something that's exclusive, and it builds your own community within the business. So just to kind of recap, keep it really simple to start, this or that, and then layer on the perks. You can always launch a mid-year perk if you're gonna, throw a holiday gift card sale. That can be something, again, that you just release to members first and then to the general public on Black Friday, for example. However you want to build that out. Okay, I'll pause there. Anything I should address in the chat? Okay, I did see some salons. So I want to tack back to that because we did talk about, giving it this or that. And the reason I think about it as such a simple start here is we want to keep it really simple. So we want the decision, the path to yes, to have the least resistance possible. When we're building these, we want to make sure we can set it up, automate it, and it's not something you have to think about every single day. We want it to be recurring revenue for your business. We want cards on file. It's charged every day on the same month, or again, if you're building out something that's every 6 weeks, annual, that they're discharged, that hits your bank account, and they're going to get their benefits all managed somewhere where you don't have to think about. A couple of the details that you want to have in your fine print are, what happens if I don't make it in for that haircut? What happens if I don't come in for the massage? Are you going to give them a grace period? Rollover minutes on your cell phone plan. I like the idea of giving up to 3 months, but I don't necessarily believe that they should roll over. This isn't a gift card. This isn't a package. The idea here is to encourage your clients that are loyal and faithful to come in and be a part of this membership community. Now, in some instances, you're going to have businesses like actually my salon that I had, we specialized in hair extensions. That is a service that generally costs upwards of, $1,200 US per service. And that service can happen anywhere from 6 weeks to 9 to 10 weeks in my scenario. That isn't the most ideal for a membership. However, the question I kept getting was, it would be great if I could do something where I just paid equal amounts monthly and could use that towards that larger ticket purchase. So one of the membership ideas to consider is having a maybe 3-option membership that is accrual based. What I mean by that is putting together 3 options, $99 a month, $149 a month, $199 a month. You choose the option that fits your budget, and that amount accrues every single month or weekly, however you want to set it up, to the point where when they come in, that handles a big chunk of the bill. So whether that's a big, injectable service, a big color correction service, anything that costs more than your average monthly service, that is a way to still be a member, to still build a recurring revenue, and they can use that towards any service within the salon or spa. So I like to mention accrual-based businesses. And with those, I like the idea of 3 options. It kind of gives people this funnel. They will tend to choose the middle option. So if your middle option is priced at $149 a month, they're then building that credit and then they can use it as they wish. So just another idea of keeping it very simple with an accrual-based membership. Cool. Thanks, Charlie. I'm glad you love the idea of accrual. I do too. It gives you a lot of flexibility, especially if you have a salon or spa with a ton of different services. I might want to get a facial and a peel one month, but the next month I'm doing, an ashiatsu and I want to sit in the steam room. So that's really where you want to figure out which way do you want to go. If you've got services that generally are monthly, stick with the service-based where you're picking this or that. If you have tons of different services and high ticket services, consider the accrual based with 3 options. Once you've really built this together, there's really going to be some steps we're going to cover in the marketing portion, but you want to have this somewhere where you can track your results and watch that membership revenue grow and increase over time. So with that, there are definitely some things that we don't want to do. So when touching on this, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where somebody sets up memberships and it sounds like such a good idea, and it literally comes to a screeching halt. And the number one reason I've seen that is people think about a membership as a way to discount. That is not what we want to do. And what I mean by that is, I'm starting a membership and I'm going to put together a facial membership that, normally my facial is $75. If you're a member, you can get it for $70. Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen right now. If you don't have a grip on what your current productivity or your current utilization is, whatever you want to call it, that basically means how many hours do you have available and how many of those hours are currently booked on a monthly basis. If you do not know that number, go ahead and pause there, go to your booking software, find that report, and understand that number. The goal of a membership is to build loyal, faithful clients. And if you already are 90% booked and you go in and build a membership with a discount, you're going to shoot your productivity through the roof with discounted services and actually lose on that membership. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to go find out what your productivity is currently and find out, do you have enough hours or providers to even give memberships a thought? What that generally looks like is you want to be 60, max 65% productive. The reason I say that is that tells me that you have recurring customers currently. You could probably be due for a price increase, which is a good thing. And you have enough available hours to actually grow the business. So that's going to be your sweet spot, anywhere from 50% to 65% productive currently. Last piece on this, if you are a solo provider, this is going to be even more important for you because you're the only one being productive. So if you put together a membership and you already have many customers who are loyal and faithful to you, they're going to glom onto this membership really quickly. And you're no longer going to have room for other customers that are coming in new to you. So we will talk about in the pricing strategy what to do in that scenario. The last piece here is putting together your membership, picking the options, and then doing nothing about it. People are not going to come to your business begging you for a membership. To be honest, I would be surprised if anyone ever got asked about it. I also have seen many times that people build the membership, put it down on paper, get it on their website, and think that their website is going to sell the memberships for you. Now, absolutely put some ad spend behind it and we'll get there. But if I'm going on your website and I've never been to your business before, having a really inviting new client experience is going to sell at a much higher conversion than just hoping somebody signs up for your membership without ever going to your business. I just don't see it happen. It's not going to be a really high conversion. It's generally going to be somebody who has been into the business, experienced what you do, loved what you do, and then decides to convert. So we are going to talk about some tips and tricks to make those conversions happen. But before we get into that, I want to touch on what I had just mentioned, and that is the key to pricing your memberships. Okay, I'm going to pause really quick because Jenny had a great question about productivity. Specifically what report in Mangomint. So in Mangomint, we have a business intelligence report that is going to give you your productivity. So that one is going to give you every staff member that has bookable hours, and you can pull it. I recommend pulling it across like at least the past 3 months, the previous quarter, and looking at total hours available versus total hours booked. Jenny, I can also show you an example of that at the end within Mangomint. Obviously, I'm not too familiar with many softwares, but it's a pretty common percentage to measure. Okay, so jumping back into pricing, this is really important because if you mess up pricing, you're going to have to change it, and then it looks like you made up the pricing to begin with. So I never recommend discounting a membership from the beginning. So if your current base price is $60 for a 60-minute service, whatever that is, haircut, facial, doesn't matter. Your membership hourly price should be $60. What we're saying here is we are rewarding those loyal and faithful customers who have already been coming to us, and they can become a member and stay at the current price that they're used to paying. With that, any non-member going forward, so let's say September 1st is the cutoff, the non-member price should raise anywhere from 5 to 20%. Now, John, I know we've talked about this, but I'm a huge proponent of an annual price increase. I just think that should be part of your business. And maybe you have a specific day that happens, January 1st, September 1st, doesn't really matter. But this should be exclusive to the membership. So if you have not raised your prices in years, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the chat because I know there's some of you here. I would err on the higher end of this. So raising your price anywhere from 10 to 20% if you haven't done a price increase. If you do adhere to annual price increases, that non-member price can go up 5%. So that's kind of the sweet spot there, how I think about it. I'm sure there's going to be objections, fears around that, and that's okay. Absolutely. If you go on the high end of 20%, you are going to lose some customers that don't want to become a member. And that's okay, because you're making room for new ones, and we'll show you how to capture those as well. So pricing, we're not discounting. We're bringing in the membership rate at our current hourly rate, for whatever service that is. And then we're raising the price of a non-member equivalent service.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want, because the productivity has come up, we will tack back to this in the Q&A, I assure you. But I want to make sure that we get into this juicy bit, which is, okay, we get the membership, we've built it, it exists, but how do we actually bring it to life? So John, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, let's do that. And I could see some of the questions already coming kind of like this, in this space, how to add new customers to the membership, how to get the word out. So let's focus a bit on marketing. Because as you said earlier, as well, Marcel, having a great membership and just leaving that on your website, hoping that someone will find it, is not really going to work, right? So, and I think that's number one. Like, if we want to be successful with our membership, this cannot be like a small side thing we do in the business. Like, okay, yeah, we're putting this little thing together, we might share it with some, or, that's not really gonna be a successful membership. Like, if you want to make this happen, you need to make this a priority in your business, and making sure that you're really going after that. And doing that all starts with like setting a goal for yourself. So whatever that goal is, if that is like what I'm showing on the slide, maybe you're saying like 50% of my clients should be on a membership after 6 months, or maybe your goal is more like, okay, the membership payments should cover my overhead, costs that I have in my business, or whatever like makes sense for you as like, this is what I want my membership to be. Really like thinking through that, and then making sure that you prioritize the efforts needed to really pull this off and to make this happen, so that it doesn't become something that is like lingers on the side and that doesn't take off. So, and in order for it to be a success, then it cannot only be, everyone who's involved in this needs to benefit, needs to get value out of it. Like, we started this presentation, I was talking about why this makes a lot of sense for a business to have memberships, the recurrent payments, the valuations, whatnot. It makes a lot of sense for the business, but does it make sense for the client, right? So I really want you to like put yourself in the shoes also of your client, looking at, okay, so here's my membership offer. When I look at that, would I as a client say, yeah, makes totally sense, I should be a member? Like, do you intrinsically like feel that like, yes, this makes sense for me, I will get value out of this as a client? Like, if you don't feel that, then you're gonna have a struggle selling this. It needs to be that the client really feels that, yes, you're getting value out of this. At the same time, it needs to work for your business, right? So it cannot be that you're giving away discounts that your business cannot manage, right? And then it's not adding profitability. It cannibalizes on your regular service prices or whatever, right? Then it's not right for the business. It needs to work for the business. It needs to work for the client. And finally, it needs to work for your team, because at the end of the day, most of the people who you're going to sign up are going to be existing loyal, existing customers. And it's going to be through conversations with your team that this is going to happen. And so also your team members, when they look at this membership and what you're putting, in place here, it needs to make sense for them to get people onto this membership as well, so that you have all of those three together. Like, it makes sense for clients, makes sense for team, makes sense for business. That's when we're ready to kind of like ready for it to take off. So I think we've talked more about what makes sense for client and business, not so much about the team. And I know you, Marcel, had some experience around this as well.
I have some experience, but also just some strong thoughts around how I think about this. When we say define your goal, the goal can be, okay, we want 50% of our total revenue to be recurring revenue. I think that's a great goal. Set a time limit, a by when, make it, a defined, attainable goal. But where the win really comes in is that service provider who looks at their books every week and sees that they are booked solid, even if it's half memberships, they know that those members are not getting a discount service. So they're not feeling like their work is being cheapened or diminished in any way. They're feeling encouraged that the overall business is supporting them and getting busy. You know, I see this in any salon that I've ever worked at, worked for as a coach, or in my own business. Team, individual, like service providers are happiest when they're busy. So overarching, that makes perfect sense. We have members, they're coming in for services, the service providers are happy. But when we think about, okay, we've got the client, they're getting these perks, these benefits, we've got the service provider, and the business is building recurring revenue off of this. I like to zoom out and think about the team as a whole. So I have heard many times, you know, we want to compensate our front desk every time they sell a membership. And I'm strongly against that. If you do that and that's what you choose to do, be a hard thing to take away, I'm sure. But the reason I don't like that is you're now double dipping into that membership. So not only are you paying a commission to the person who sells it, you're also paying a commission when the person comes in for that service to the service provider. So you might be killing your revenue and not even knowing it. So I encourage you to take a look at that and be sure. But what I prefer over that is setting that team goal. So a company-wide goal of where you want to get with memberships, and then having a tracker. So that's something that you can all see, that the team understands, and having a reward when you get to that goal that makes sense for the team. Now, that can be a bonus if your team is motivated by, you know, having a bonus on their check. That could be, you know, an outing. I learned by just asking my staff, what would you prefer, this or that? Have an anonymous poll, and majority wins. Oddly enough, I had many occasions where my team just wanted to get together. They wanted to go to a different salon and the 10 of us get blow dries together and go out to dinner. You know, if you have a larger salon, that'd be a little bit more challenging. But I think really going to your staff, especially if you've got front desk and managers in the mix, and just finding out like what would be a win for you and building some sort of team reward around that, rather than doing the kind of double dip and like all individual success. So having that in mind with your triangle, it really creates something cohesive that everyone wins from. As it relates to that, though, I think, you know, what we haven't really driven home is we've talked about, we've kind of like teased it, John, but I'd love for you to really go back now that we have this membership, we have our goal and an understanding. How do we get it out there?
Yeah, how do we get it out there? Marketing. So kind of like the key message here is like, let's not leave this at something that we just do at the end, something that we just start talking about when, you know, the person is at the checkout, and then it's like suddenly out of nowhere, we start talking about this membership program and starting to like ask them to commit to a monthly, you know, payment and things like that. That's going to be a struggle. So, you know, your exact marketing strategy is obviously going to depend on like the channels that you have today to communicate and to market towards your existing customers. And obviously I would focus primarily here on existing customers. So common channels will of course be like email. For sure, you have an email address of all your customers. You might have, you know, the texting capability as well if you have, you know, phone numbers, or, you know, using social media, that you're actually talking about this on your social media as well, so that people understand that you're a business that offers membership and that this is like something that is integral in what you do, and that people have the awareness of that, and that you have information, of course, on your website about, you know, what your memberships are, so that like before the client even comes into your business, they have that level of awareness. And for those interested, have had the chance to kind of educate themselves a little bit around it. And then like during, you know, your appointment, when you come in and the client is in the waiting area, you know, hand them a service menu, or like give them a QR code to scan or whatever, where they can learn about your membership programs and like already like start that journey with them there. And then, you know, during the appointment as well, naturally your you know, therapist or stylist, depending on what business you run, but will be building a plan together, or shouldn't be building a plan together with their clients, when they have them in the chair or on the bed.
I think of it like gardening. It's like we're planting those seeds throughout how we communicate on a social, how we communicate through our website. And it's kind of off topic, but I remember working at the first salon I ever worked at was a really structured Sassoon-based salon. And I remember in the restroom, there was a sign, and I wish I knew the exact verbiage because it was like borderline British humor, but very direct, that asked people to wipe down the sink basin once they've washed their hands. And I remember the first time I went in, I was a little bit like jarred because it's literally at eye level on the mirror. But to this day, every restroom I go into, the wash basin is just covered in water and I still wipe it down. And I think like back to that eye level is bi level. When you walk into the business, if memberships is what you're launching, it's got to be everywhere in a way that your clients are going to see it. Which, I know I'm kind of jumping into it, but this is where I get really passionate is like during the appointment, now we need to water those seeds. So we've planted, and all the way from the consultation of understanding everything this customer needs, this client needs, understanding what kind of home care they're going to need to nourish this. And then knowing, okay, if they are already coming into me every month for this particular service, every 8 weeks for this particular service, yet every time they come in, they're still complaining that their ends are dry or their color, their toner didn't last as long as they had expected. I might be thinking, okay, we got this new at-home, toner gloss that they can do and mix into their conditioner. Okay, we can, get them a discount on that if they join the membership and want to keep the current price. So I'm formulating this in my head because I know it to be true based on what they said. But now I need to actually incorporate that into the conversation. So I have put together some scripts that are actual things that I've said, and I'm going to walk you through them. So feel free to screenshot this. We'll also be posting this after, but this is kind of the things that I'd be thinking about, especially for the easy sell. Like the majority of your initial memberships are already loyal guests that come to you every month. So consider that. And this is where I would be educating them during the service. So especially if I'm doing a haircut and we're chit-chatting or something during the beginning stages, I might just let them know, hey, our annual price increase goes into effect September 1. Would it be okay if I shared our new membership that would keep you at our current haircut price, current facial price? So gaining agreement allows you, realistically, what's the harm here? You're just asking if you can share. If they say no, or they've already requested a silent appointment, no worries. But this is probably somebody you already know, like, and trust somewhat. So that's one piece, is how do we gain agreement? Another way is by speaking to what you already know to be true. So I see that you've been consistent with your monthly facial. In order to maintain the results that you want, would it be okay if I shared the additional benefits of our new facial membership? This is somebody who's already been coming in again for this service, but maybe they're lacking that home care. And this is where we can plug that 10% off retail, that additional benefit that comes with becoming a facial member in order to move them in the direction of closing the sale. So those are kind of those conversation starters that you can try on. Of course, change the verbiage, but I just read them to you. Feel free to drop into the chat if you would have been totally turned off by me saying either of those things to you. But I've tried these. They're tried and true. It's just conversational and always gaining agreement. So finally, we've gained agreement. And now we actually need to close the sale. So that's what it is. And I always bring this back to, I had a wonderful coach in my career, Lance Courtney, and he always taught by the what, why, how, love. So when I think about that, I need to educate them on what it is, how they're going to do it, what they're going to love about it. So John, based on your current regimen, I would recommend starting our new 90-minute monthly facial membership. Not only will you be able to retain the current price you pay for your monthly facial with me, you'll also receive 10% off retail for being a loyal and faithful member at Mangomint Spa. How would you like to get started and use your benefits towards today's service? So
Totally.
something easy,
Yes.
something that tacks onto what they already do, something that incorporates getting the benefit from that immediately. So I can even show you, obviously I only have one thing to go from, but I would be more than happy to show you what that actually looks like as a checkout, just so you can see how fast that can happen and we can apply it to a service that day. So John, if you don't mind, I'll hop on and show you.
Yeah, please do. Go
So
ahead.
I'm going to take you guys on a, let's see, are you sure? I am sure. Take you on a little tour here. So we're going to actually hop into Mangomint because I want you to see not only what does it look like to actually sell something like this, but we want to do it in a way where if we've got John, for example, and he's booked on this particular day, and we want to be able to sign up and use this service today, this is how easy it could be. So we're inside of Mangomint. John has an appointment. We're going to go ahead and check him into service. And if we head over to starting a membership, I use that script. I just got verbal agreement from John. He wants to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to pull up his profile. I'm going to select the plan that he is requested to start. We're starting it right now because he wants to use those benefits today. And we're just going to use the card that's on his profile. So we go ahead and start that membership. And John now has the credit for the service that he's getting today. So in terms of that, maybe John's also getting some products. I put the wrong service in. So let's change that first, which is easy to do. So we've got John in here. We can see right away that John is an active member because he's got this little green light, green for go. So when we go to checkout, a couple things are going to happen. One, when we add products to the ticket, those are going to be automatically discounted if you offer a discount in your membership. We're also going to see any membership credits that are available for John. So in this case, I want to go ahead and apply that credit. It's going to discount the service, and then he can check out any retail items that we have here. Let me go ahead and change this guy to here. Oh my gosh. Actually, we're removing the product because that person apparently has their own payment account in my demo account. So we can see now the ticket's been zeroed out, but that's not it. There's one more piece I want to show you because one fear of service providers is that they'll no longer receive gratuity when they use a membership. We have solved that by using our self-checkout in Mangomint for collecting gratuity. So again, if you aren't using Mangomint, a great script, so write this down, is I've gone ahead and applied your membership credit for today's services. Would you like to close it at that or add gratuity? So again, chocolate or vanilla, bacon or sausage. Give them a simple question that allows them to say, no, I'd love to add 20% to the original service, whatever that is. So then we can close that out and the service provider gets their credit, their tip, and John's now used his membership benefits that he started today. So whether you're using Mangomint or something else, I would say the most important thing is you need something where you can set it up and forget it. You don't have to constantly manage it. And if what you're currently using doesn't look as simple as straightforward as what you just saw, that's okay. We've got a gift for you. So John, if you want to share any.
Yes. So so if your current software does not support memberships and you want to get started with this, you want to try Mangomint, I have agreed with Marcel, who's the VP of sales at Mangomint, that if you just say that you were at this webinar, you heard us talk about this, you'll get an extra month free trial. So you basically get like 2 months free trial where you can just like play around. So you have time to like play around with memberships and really see, because it's, there's a lot of things you can do in there. I think Marcel showed you a bit now, but I think the best is to go in and to like play for yourself and to see, this will work with how I intend to run my, not only membership, but like total business, right? So you just like head over to mangomint.com and you register for that like free trial. And when someone is reaching out to you to see how you're getting on, just tell them like, yeah, they told me I could have 2 months, and you'll have that.
Little caveat to that. I know some of you joining today are not based in the US and Canada, which is what Mangomint's currently serving. More than happy to continue the conversation if you just have some questions, but I'm sure we can do that even with a few minutes of Q&A that we have.
Yes. Great. So should we try to tackle some questions? We got a lot of questions.
I want to jump right into actually what Rory mentioned really quickly, which was, what about marketing memberships through a partnership? I think strategic partnerships are so wise, especially going in directly with a membership for that strategic partnership and bringing that to the gym that you're partnering with, for example. So you can create a membership that has an additional benefit, and that benefit could be maybe you can get with that gym owner and get 10% off at that gym. So it's not costing you anything, but it creates this like juicy benefit that they could then cross promote, and it will potentially get attention to that gym, and then they could do that back for you. So I love the value add idea of a strategic partnership.
Yes. One interesting one that I think you would probably best to answer, Marshall, as well, is like if you have independent contractors, this is coming from Lothar, if I'm saying that right. If you have independent contractors in your business, like how would you handle memberships then?
No, I'm just kidding. So there is going to be a fine line there because you need to gain agreement from those independent contractors that that's something they want to participate in. The next challenge is you're going to have some admin to do there. So what I mean by that is if you are going to charge a membership, that membership is generally going to be charged to the business entity itself. So whether that's your salon or spa. Now, I'm an independent contractor. I do a service that's a facial that's then zeroed out because it was a membership facial. You're going to have reporting that keeps track of which facials were recognized revenue from those memberships and who provided that service. And then you're going to have to do one of two things, either pay out that independent contractor for their commission on that. So if you're already tracking commissions in that way, it's not like a renter, this could work because you can just include those onto their pay. If they're a renter, you have to decide, are you just deducting the services that they provided from their rent? So there is going to be some admin on your end. And again, you do need to get buy-in from those independent contractors. Now, that said, why not just do an annual membership? That's a one-time per year fee that gets customers a discount on your retail. So again, in the idea of just building a loyal, faithful community, it doesn't have to be service-based. It could just be, $100 annual membership, and you're going to get a discount on retail, and then those perks, like if you have events, things like that.
Awesome. Great. Should we do a final question before we wrap up, and then we can go through as well if there's any specific ones we want to reach out to as well?
If you don't mind, I did want to touch on Michelle's comment of when they're currently 90% utilization and are on commission, they're not going to want to lose 40% of their earnings. There shouldn't be any opportunity for losing earnings if you're not discounting, because you're actually building in an increase. So if anything, it should increase because now the new clients outside of the members, even if they're not new clients, anyone who doesn't become a member is actually paying a higher price. And on your membership, they're still getting the same commission on the service that they provide. So there shouldn't be any discount there. The benefit to you as an owner is that you have reporting and trackability on this recurring revenue, so you can make more informed decisions on hiring, on growing, and things like that.
Awesome. Great. Love seeing all the love comments from Mangomint as well. So we have a bunch of existing users of Mangomint here as well, which is great. So thanks for that. So just as we said earlier as well, if you want to get started with it, I see some comments as well. I'm in the UK, does it work? So unfortunately, the software doesn't work. Obviously, the principles that we've shared for memberships will work, and you will need to find a local software in the UK that can support you. But yeah. So yeah, but if you want to get started with Mangomint, just head over to mangomint.com. I'm leaving the URL on the screen as well. Sign up for a free trial. Tell the team you heard it from us, and you'll get like a long period so you can really like play around fully with the tool. And I'll make sure to go through the comments as well, because we got some other earlier as well, and we'll get back to you via email if we didn't now in this conversation. So thanks a lot. Thanks for attending today. Thank you, Marcel, for sharing all your wisdom when it comes to memberships. That was really insightful. Really appreciate having you here. And thanks for all the engagement and all the questions in the chat as well. I really hope that you got something out of this session, some ideas to start getting moving with memberships. As I said in the beginning of this session, memberships is really a great way to increase both the value of your business and also like your earnings and income by client. And, even more so, just adding some stability and peace for yourself as well, knowing that you have recurring income coming in. So really wish you all the best with this. And you know where to find us over at Mangomint or at the Salon Business. This is where we're hanging out. We're doing this type of like business webinars like today every month as well. So like stay tuned to that. I'll make sure to email you whenever the next one is coming up as well. All right. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.